1901, a diver finds an old broken ship at the bottom of the sea. Inside, he sees a small lump of green rusty metal. At first, nobody thinks it is important. It sits inside a museum, forgotten for years. Then, many years later, scientists finally take a closer look, and what they find breaks every idea we had about ancient people. Inside, there are tiny metal gears, dozens of them, fitted together so perfectly that nothing this exact was made again for over 1,000 years. This is not a toy. This is not jewelry. Scientists now think this may be the world's very first computer, built over 2,000 years ago. This story does not start with scientists. It starts with sponge divers near a small Greek island called Antikythera. Some divers were looking for sea sponges. Instead, they found something strange on the seafloor, an old, broken ship. This ship had sunk around 2,000 years ago. It was likely carrying treasure and statues from Greece. Among broken statues and old pots, the divers pulled up a small, plain-looking lump of rusty metal. No one on that boat knew they had just found one of the most important objects in human history. For years, this piece of metal sat quietly inside a museum in Athens. It did not look special at all, just an old, rusty, cracked lump of metal. Then, in 1902, an archaeologist noticed something odd. Inside the rust, he could see what looked like a small wheel, with tiny, sharp teeth, like a gear. That one small detail changed everything. Machines with gears this precise were not supposed to exist in ancient Greece. For many years, scientists could barely study this object without breaking it more. The metal was rusty. It was cracked into 82 different pieces. It was much too weak to open by hand. The real breakthrough came much later, in the 2000s. Scientists used advanced X-ray and CT scan machines, the same kind used in hospitals, to see inside without breaking it apart. What they saw inside shocked scientists all over the world. Inside the rusty metal case, there were at least 30 gears, all connected together. Some were smaller than a coin. These gears worked together to track the movement of the sun, the moon, and even the planets people knew about back then. It could predict eclipses of the sun and moon years before they happened. It could even track the 4-year cycle of the ancient Olympic Games. In simple words, this small metal box was a working model of the whole sky, built entirely by hand, over 2,000 years ago. This is where the mystery gets even bigger. Nothing this advanced shows up anywhere else in history for over 1,000 years after this. Some experts think it may be connected to the famous Greek inventor Archimedes, or to a group of astronomers who lived on the island of Rhodes. Old writings even talk about a Roman thinker named Cicero. He wrote about seeing a similar device that showed the movement of the sky, but we still do not know for sure who built it, or how many other machines like this one were ever made. Here is the strangest part of this whole story. After this machine was built, it seems like people completely lost the skill to build anything this complex again. For over 1,000 years, wars, the fall of empires, and burned libraries probably destroyed the knowledge needed to build something like it. It was only in the 1300s, when European clockmakers appeared, that machines this complex were built again. In other words, ancient Greece built a machine so far ahead of its time that the rest of the world took over 1,000 years to catch up. Even now, in modern times, scientists keep finding new details hidden inside this old machine. In recent years, scientists used 3D models and new scans to figure out what the front of the machine may have looked like. It likely showed the sun, moon, and planets moving in circles, like a tiny model of the solar system. There are also tiny words written on the metal, smaller than the writing on a coin. Scientists are still reading these words, letter by letter, using advanced cameras. Every few years, This 2,000-year-old machine still teaches us something new. The Antikythera Mechanism proves something important. Ancient people were not simple or basic. They understood math, the stars, and how to build machines well enough to make a working model of the sky. We simply lost that knowledge for a long time, and had to find it again, piece by piece, from the bottom of the sea. A broken ship, a small rusty lump of metal, a museum drawer, ignored for years. Inside it all was proof that human genius is much, much older than we ever thought.